Welcome to a brand new season of TVGP's Critical Misses. I'm your host, Boston, and joining me as always is Moonbear.
Is it a new season? Really?
Ooh, is it? Yeah. It's
What's
technically.
new is old again? What's old is new again?
That's right. You got it. So we're doing a Critical Misses
Thrift
catch
store?
up here.
Uh,
Uh,
Critical Misses Thrift Store? Is that the name for this season?
maybe. So we've been doing this for years, and figured that it was probably a great time to visit slash revisit some of the original series that we've done that have new entries in them.
Yeah, because franchises never die
That's right.
anymore. Is the thing we have learned.
And now, thanks
In
to
the era,
AI,
yeah,
actors can never die either. So,
exactly.
yeah.
Um, saying nothing, saying nothing, saying nothing. In
Welcome to
the
your
year of our
morbid
baby Yoda
episode.
2025, yes.
That's right.
It turns out that since we started this, we've had quite a few of the series the series that we have done seasons on
Yep.
have released sequels.
Yep.
I mean, who would have thunk it? Like, you've got $1 billion franchise, why not make another
Yeah.
one?
Why
And
not
another
keep
one.
making them? And so we're revisiting the Fast Saga here with the fourth most expensive movie made in history, with Fast
Mhm.
X, which is like the real title for it, but I don't want to call it that. It's Fast 10
No,
because
no.
that's way more
Uh,
fun.
Tamar Hussein came up with the best ever title for this, which
Uh-huh.
is after Fast 9 released.
Hmm.
He said, if they don't call this Fast X Your Seatbelts,
Yes.
I'm going to be very, very
It
annoyed.
it's
So,
really
in my
disappointing.
head, it's still Fast 10 Your Seatbelts.
Yeah, because like it's one of those things of like you have the easiest marketing and poster win of all time of Fast 10 your
Mm-hmm.
seatbelts. I just take the low hanging fruit, man. There's no
Well, what was
shame
the
in it.
last one called?
F9.
Yeah, exactly, dude.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
So why not call it
So,
Fast X? Yeah.
in that tradition,
Uh huh.
what happened in Fast 9, Boston?
Oh, Moon. I'm so glad you asked. I have no idea. Things blew up. John
Mm-hmm.
Cena was there.
Yep.
He's Dom's brother, half brother. There was a rosary.
Mm-hmm.
They had that kind of bad fade from the rosary to like the cross on top of a church. John
Mm-hmm. And there was
Cena
a flashback
was bad.
sequence at the start.
Oh, with like cutting the fuel line. Was
Yep,
F9 that?
there we go.
With the car flipping. We flip that thing.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh,
Mm-hmm.
Lord.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so yeah,
Uh, what's it?
memorable.
What?
Yeah,
What's his name? Boston.
Dom's brother, that guy.
Yep. Yeah, Dom's brother. What's his name?
Roberto.
Nope.
Dom's brother's name. What the hell is? Oh, I know. John Cena.
No, you can't see him. You can only see Dom's brother.
That's true. That's a good point. I don't remember at all. Do you remember his name?
It's Jacob with a K.
Jacob. Okay.
Oh, and by the way, the only reason I remember this is because I literally, before we started recording, pulled up the Wikipedia page for F9 because I was like, which one was
Uh
that
huh.
again?
Mm-hmm.
So we are family members.
Of
This goes
course.
without saying. If you've listened to the first season of Critical Misses, you really should. If you haven't, by the
Yep.
way, we are family members. We salud mi familia. Like
Mm-hmm.
100%, we're down with the family. With that being said, in a sentence or less, let's see how well these movies stick. And I get a feeling I'm gonna know when it's gonna end.
Okay.
Give me the plot synopsis for every Fast and Furious movie in a sentence or less
Okay.
from one.
So first one is we stole some VHS players and whoops, now we're racing. Half quarter mile
So,
at a time.
yep, Point Break
Uh-huh.
with cars.
That's fair. Two is Ejectocito cuz we're hungry.
Yep, two is Miami,
Mm-hmm.
Ejectocito cars,
Mm-hmm.
drug lord driving.
Three is the best one. Period.
Yes, you could sum that up in in 2 words: Tokyo Drift, baby.
Yeah, that's right. Four is terrible CGI tunnels. Ampersand.
Yep, terrible CJ tunnels.
Mm-hmm.
The guy who fled to Mexico to
Yep.
escape the wrath of the family.
Five is Incredibly Cool Safe Chase.
Safe Chase is 5.
Uh-huh. 6
The best one.
is a movie that we watched. I would know it if I saw the poster. Hold on.
Nope, no cheating, no cheating, no cheating.
Let me at least see the title. Fast and Furious 6. Oh, Lord. I don't remember this one at all.
6 is Flip Cars.
Yep. Uh-huh.
With the guy from The Hobbit, Shaw, the young Shaw.
Racing through Britain.
Liverpool.
The F1 cars. That was an okay.
Like the flip cars.
Yeah, that was an okay one. Yeah, flip cars.
Yes.
Yeah, you only need 2 words for that one. Yep.
Flip cars.
Furious 7.
Also Tank, just in case you didn't remember. Tank is number 6.
Was that the one that ended with the like big tanker chase and the tank blows out at the end of it?
Yes, that's the one where the tank goes through the front of like the semi truck when they stop the semi truck.
That was a cool scene.
And Ludacris is like, dude, plans A through Z mean nothing anymore. They have a tank.
Furious 7. Was that the first
best villain introduction?
Oh yeah, that's right, with the like hospital intro.
Jason
Statham is here. That's my.
Yep, the Elder Shaw has arrived.
That's right. That's my short one for that. The Fate of the Furious. That's the first one with what's her face with the bad haircut.
Cypher.
Yes.
Yes. We literally was Furiosa. Literally, Charlize Theron.
Yes.
There you go.
God,
yes, that is also the eldest Shaw arrives. That is the one famous for the. I don't know. Helen Mirren might be in this one.
She's so cool in that movie, dude. Oh my god. F9.
That's also Nuclear Submarine, by the way.
Okay, that was the sub one. I couldn't remember if that was. Okay, that had to be 8 because 9 is We Went to Space. Finally, shut up about it.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yes. 8 is also the Dom has a son, by the way, routine.
Dom's got a lot going on in every movie, man. Yeah. And then F9 is John Cena is here. He's not a great actor. We Went to Space. Shut up about it. Also, we have we jumped a chasm with a car and we did like a grappling hook thing.
They flew a jet with a magnetic thing and caught the car midair. Yes. Yeah. Who flew the jet? Boston.
The great one of the family.
Nope, it was Cypher.
Yeah,
Cypher flew the jet, which caught John Cena's car.
Right.
And then Dom does the hookshot rodeo swing around over the same chasm.
I don't want to like that sequence, but I kind of do.
Because it's so dumb?
It's the most Fast Saga thing. Of just like, how am I going to go over there? It's like, well, we're going to use a tool we've never seen before. Yeah. So we're here for Fast 10
Your seatbelt.
Ish. Okay. Here's the big thing I know about this movie.
So you haven't seen this. For clarification for those listening, I did see that. I have to see these movies in the theaters, so I saw this movie in the theater the day it came out because I cannot help myself.
I have been saving it for this show, largely to get my impressions in the second part. I know the big thing I know from this movie, and the thing that I heard the most about in ways that are very
something we forgot to cover in 9. Han is back. Don't worry about
it. Yeah, Han is back. It's a comic book movie. Like it doesn't.
Giselle isn't. Han is.
Right. Yeah. Jason Momoa is in this movie as the villain who apparently is chewing the most scenery in a movie that we've seen in probably the last decade or so. It is like the most over the top cartoon character villain.
Yes. Jason Momoa is in this movie. He is the villain. And they also let him do Jason Momoa things, which is like he's got his nails painted, which he loves to do. I think his kids do it for him.
Right.
And he always does like interviews with his nails painted and stuff like that. He has that in this, which
that's cool.
he just has throughout the entire movie because he's allowed to, because he's Jason Momoa. This is post Game of Thrones, post
Right,
Aquaman,
right.
Jason Momoa.
Like, who's gonna say no to the largest dude on the planet?
Uh-huh.
Who's also allegedly very nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Get, Go look at the if you haven't seen it, go look up him sneaking up on Henry Cavill at like
Oh, like the one of the
the
biggest
Justice.
memes in the history of the world.
Yes, like
Yep.
it's just the funniest thing ever. You could tell he's just having the time of his life, just being himself.
So that him being the villain in this movie is the thing that I think I've heard the most about. Of there's two camps of people being like, this was the most unhinged thing on the planet and I love it, and then people being like, what happened with who what is he doing, who let him do that? So I'm very curious to see which one of those, especially after watching Furiosa, where I was sort of like, who
Uh-huh.
let him play that character like that? Why were you made? Why'd you make those choices? I'm very
Oh,
curious
you're
to
talking
see.
about Chris
Yeah,
Chris
Chris Hemsworth.
Hemsworth in that one.
Yeah, very much like why. So I'm curious to see where I land here as someone who likes Momoa.
Interesting.
I think the other thing that I'm really curious about for this movie is my expectation going into this, especially as the Fast Saga movies continue to get more popular and get bigger budgets and more promotional and stuff. I assume that 99% of the cast will be returning.
Hmm.
I
Well, have you heard the scuttlebutt about the final film? Because they have one more film to go.
Right. Yes, they do. The final part two Fast Saga movie.
Yeah. So the final film is now two final films, just so you know,
Incredible. Love
in
it.
in the style of youth action, YA novels turned into movies. The
Yep.
final chapter, the final book is now two
Your
movies. Now
Wizard
the final
School,
movie is now two
your
movies,
Hunger
and
Games.
your
Yeah,
Hunger Games. So it's now two movies,
of course.
and I don't know if it's been confirmed,
Mm.
but apparently the scuttlebutt is the beef has been squashed between
The Rock and
The Rock and Vin Diesel.
interesting, because that was going to be my only person that I thought it was safe to assume wasn't going to be in this movie was going to be The Rock. I'm
He's not on the poster, so yes.
okay. Uh, I haven't like I'm going to assume Jason Statham at least has a chance to have a cameo of them being like, yeah, bring in.
Hey,
Yeah,
hey,
yeah.
he's on the poster.
Okay, I'm not looking at it.
Okay.
Spoilers. But like at the very least, because the crew, the cast is like
Uh-huh.
30 people deep by this point. I'm assuming it's not going to be 30 people in a secret underground bunker working for what's his name, Mr. Shadow? What's
Mr.
it?
Nobody,
Mr.
who
Nobody.
died.
Ah, that's a cool name. Anyways, working for like a
He died at the end of the last movie, dude.
right, but like working for somebody like Mr. Nobody,
Uh-huh.
a shadowy governmental organization that for some reason is a very talented group of precision drivers.
Yes.
But you know, you can't have 30 cars in every scene. I'm sure some people would be like, "Hey, look, it's them back for one more job," and I'll be like, "Hi, I'm Jason Statham." This is my Jason Statham impression. Hi, I'm Jason Statham. I'm going to steal a car. Watch The Beekeeper. You know, like that's the sort of thing.
No, Beekeeper's old news. You want the working man now is the one you want.
I can't keep track of all of the Jason Statham movies.
Because they're all the same movie,
Uh-huh.
dude.
I love
Like,
them. I love them so much.
our Jason Statham season groweth ever fast.
That's true.
Faster than we can film it, apparently.
That's true. So like I hope we see Jordana Brewster. Like I hope we see Nathalie Emmanuel. I hope we see Han. I hope he's back. Jason Statham is probably going to be back because he's a dude. So most dudes are going to be back in this movie for better or for worse. I really hope we see Michelle Rodriguez because I feel like for the last couple of the movies she hasn't had the biggest roles, especially as
What are you
the
talking about?
kid
Her and
comes in.
Jordana Brewster had that big fight scene in like Little Tokyo or wherever it was,
That's true. That was kind of fun.
while looking for Jacob,
That's true.
because Paul has to stay at home and look after the kiddo.
That's true. That was kind of fun. I did like that. But like I don't want to see my concern about these movies as they continue is that the women in the movie are kind of relegated to not
I
driving
mean,
roles.
yeah, one of the biggest villains is a woman in
Yeah,
sci-fi.
yeah, which is great, you know, and you got
Hmm.
an incredible actor to do that, which is great. But
True.
so I don't, uh, other than Momoa, I haven't really seen anyone else who's new in this movie. I'm sure there's going to be a grip of new people of like, oh dang, you got them, okay, sure, big old actor, all right.
Really? With Momoa's paychecks, you think they're getting more than just Momoa?
I think so, yeah. At the very least, of like, here's an intelligence agent. It's somebody who's in this movie for 10, 15 minutes. That sort of thing.
Okay. Uh, do we see the family trope reoccur, and does Jacob become a good guy now? Because every single
Ooh.
movie has the bad guy become the good guy in the next
It's
movie.
it's very much the Yakuza games thing of like you're my sworn enemy, and then 40 hours later in the same game they're like, well, welcome to the club. Um,
Shaw killed Han,
right, and that was
and
cool.
that
That's fine.
and now he's fine. Everybody's fine with him, and
But
he even got his own spin-off movie.
Han only died a little bit, so like it's not
I
that
mean,
bad.
that's true.
Um, is Jacob gonna be part of the crew? I feel like if you're gonna bring him back, probably. I feel like that might be the end of this movie. Is like the last shot is gonna be him joining the rest of the family for the like pasta dinner like usual,
Hmm.
and them being like, well, we've had our differences, but he's okay. He's my brother. Credits.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
think Cypher is going to be cracking a beer with the rest of the crew for barbecue, but
Oh, really? You don't? You
no.
don't think Cypher, the one who killed Dom's son's mother,
Uh huh.
is not going to join the family?
Chances are good she's probably going to keep being a bad guy. Yeah.
It will be hilarious if she does, because it's just like, you guys just no,
Stop it.
no.
Stop doing this.
Why? Why? I don't get me wrong. I appreciate the turn the bad guy into the good guy thing. Please look at
Right.
anything in the society these days.
Hmm.
Um, but my word, there's some lines you just sure killed Han.
Yeah, but only like a little bit.
Only for like 5 movies. I
Yeah,
get
like
it,
he
but
was just a little.
still.
That's only half of the movies. He's fine now.
Mm-hmm.
He's cool.
Sure.
Yeah. Tokyo was
Mm-hmm.
a wild
Sure.
time for everybody. Let's just put it that way.
It definitely was at
Yeah.
that. Like,
Yeah.
also for the life of me, I can't remember who Ellie is from the last movie. Something about
Ellie?
a DNA thing and a kid, and Han was made to protect her. I don't know who that is.
What the hell's that?
So,
Yeah, I don't
okay.
know. Maybe I'll have to
Yep.
watch that movie again before I watch
I
this movie.
Yeah. In all
Yeah.
honesty, I
Well,
might need to
let's
sit
just go
down and
back
do
to the first
9.
one. We're gonna watch 11 movies just to get ready for this one.
So last year was the first year I did not watch every single Fast and the Furious movie
Mm.
in the
So
summer.
there's a lot of them
And
now.
I think the reason why I didn't is because there's 10 of them now.
You got to watch Better Luck
11
Tomorrow
technically.
and watch that too. Like
12
got 12
technically.
of them. Yeah, that movie was great. Um, yeah, I don't remember enough about that. I remember enjoying 9 well enough that I don't. You ask me to go watch Ampersand, and I'll be like, let's maybe watch 5 instead. But 9 was all right enough. So maybe I'll go
I
back
mean,
to
it
that
was
one.
not
Uh-huh.
okay. No, I'm gonna save it. I'm gonna say.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna save it. I'm gonna save it.
Okay. Check out part 2.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Check out the end of the rest of this episode that you're
Right.
listening to.
The only thing that you couldn't get Batman to torture out of me would be a guess of what the plot of this movie is going to be. I have no idea. I will never have any idea unless it's very much like tune in for part 2 of this movie where we chase down the bad guy. I no idea.
I mean, I'll just say. I mean, this. When did this movie come out? 20
2023.
something. Okay, so it's now 2 years later, and they still haven't released the next one. That feels like something's gone on in that production process.
Yeah, because
Um,
did they?
Wait, I think the next one is the one where they've fired like 4 different directors on it already.
That sounds about right. These last couple have been troubled
Rough.
productions.
Hmm.
Let's say, yeah. Um, uh,
Oh, apparently Fast 11 is 2026 movie.
woof. Okay, and that's a two-parter, or it's the second part of this movie.
Fast and Furious 11 will be the final installment in the main Fast and the Furious series.
Okay.
Nice,
Little couching of like,
little hedging of your
mm,
bets there.
yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Um,
I'm such an idiot.
yeah.
Strikes, dude. Why isn't Fast 11 out? Strikes. That's why it's not
Oh,
out.
right. SAG-AFTRA
Because
and
we've
all that.
had
Yes,
two
solidarity.
separate strikes
Yep,
back to back.
solidarity.
Good
Screw
job.
AI. Yep.
Uh-huh.
Okay, that makes sense. Yep.
It's known as Fast X Part 2. Oh, okay, so maybe this is the final movie.
I mean, the final movie, part two.
Yes.
We're splitting it up even more. Um, I don't know anything. Any kind of closing thoughts you have here, leading into us watching whatever? How long is this movie, Moon?
Hold on, I will tell you.
I just had a moment of, oh no.
It's it's not short. I'll tell you that right
Wait,
now.
let
It
me
is
guess.
definitely not short.
232 minutes.
Give me that in hours, dude. Give me in hours and a minute,
That's
please.
3 hours or something. It's something
It,
stupid.
it is shorter than I thought it was.
Okay. So is it 2 hours and 35 minutes?
It's 221.
221. Look at that. A breezy 2.5 hours. Okay. I gotta get started on that pretty soon then. Nice.
Fast 9 was 223. Okay, apparently they just make like I honestly thought these were 3-hour movies, dude.
Mm-hmm. Ken Burns, eat your heart out. Anyways, what parting thoughts do you have here before we go into Fast 10?
If if the next one is the last one, it makes sense with the ending of this movie. That is all I will
Okay.
say.
Oh, I do
Um,
remember people being upset about where this movie ended
100,000%,
in
dude.
a way that maybe we just finished. I'm not gonna spoil what it is, but we just finished a game with a massive cliffhanger that I was very unhappy about.
Mhm.
And
It'll be out by the time this comes out, so
okay, so it's I guess minor
just say the
spoilers.
name of
It's
the game. Just say
Lost
the name of the game.
Lost Records, Bloomin' Rage, Tape One. Um,
Yes.
so if this has another upsetting cliffhanger, I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Hold on. What's the next movie on the docket here? Okay.
Uh huh.
Mm,
Uh huh.
mm.
We have a movie in this season, perhaps the next one, that is contentious. So
Oh yeah. Yep,
I
yep,
won't.
yep, yep,
Not
yep.
gonna spoil it quite yet. You'll have to guess which
Go
one of
listen
our
to the production
seasons.
meeting.
Uh huh.
If you're listening to this on the free feed and you're not a patron, go listen to the production meeting. That way you
Yeah.
know all of the movies that are coming this season,
Yeah.
and they're probably already out.
That's true. That's true. Okay. Parting thoughts.
It's a fast movie.
Mm. Well, not at 2.5 hours. Heyo.
Oh no, dude. We watched the DC Cinematic Universe movies. 2.5 is a breeze.
True. True.
Don't come at me with
Gets
that. I'm sorry. Anything below 3 hours is quick
get
to
Zack
me.
Snyder in here. Pad this thing out. We could get another hour out of
Make it
this.
a 6-part TV show.
Yeah. Put it in black and white, 4x3, and let's
Mhm.
do it.
When is Dom gonna get the black suit? Is what I want to know.
I was gonna say like the Fast 10 Black and Chrome edition. Like,
I mean, the worst part is you know these wouldn't work as a black and white movie.
no,
There's
100%.
too many like seizure inducing like
true.
cuts
It's true.
in this.
But what if somebody said, "Witness me, Dom"? What if that happened?
and sprayed Noz on their face instead. Dude,
Now
I'm just saying.
we're free for
We're cooking. We're cooking, dude. Now we're
cooking with
cooking.
Nas here. Let's hire us, please.
Hey, you want the shortest spoiler in the history of the planet?
Sure.
The word family is said 56 times in this movie.
That's the least surprising thing I've heard about this movie.
So, my part of thoughts for this are hilarious because, like, I just want to bring something up. I have a couple of people who I watch reaction videos for movies that I've seen because I like them. I mentioned to you one of the ones I watched, Natalie Gold. She did a suicidal thing of I'm going to watch all of the Fast and the Furious movies in one day until I get tired of it. And made it through 5, and then was like, okay, now I'm hooked. I'm just going to come back a different day and finish off the rest of them. The entire way through that first video, she's like, family! And they say it once in like 5, and that's it.
Yeah.
They don't say family at all until 5, which is when this whole universe congeals.
Yep.
And it becomes the franchise we know as today.
As soon as the summoning word has been uttered, family. That all came together.
That's the movie that makes or breaks you on this franchise, right?
Yeah, like, if you
make it to 5,
yeah, and if that's the one of like either you think it's the hypest thing you've seen in your life, or you're just like, they're still making it. There's how many? There's 7 more of these. Oh my god! It's like, yeah, okay, we should just tap out now.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, well, on that note, let's go watch the film.
Yep.
All right, we're back from watching the film. Do you want to have a quick note here at the beginning? This movie was long, and I took nearly 0 notes. So if we miss something, we miss like your favorite scene in the movie, that's gonna happen. That's just gonna happen on the show. We're not like watching it while we're recording it or anything. So like, you cut us a little slack, especially on this one.
These are not watch-alongs, although.
Right. Patreon.com/you1I1.
Yeah. Something in the boiler for later. Anyway, shall we talk about how horrifically, terribly this movie did not stick in my brain?
There's some stuff.
2 big points, which I'm sure we'll get to.
Okay.
Based on what I was saying in part 1.
Okay.
Right at the back end of the movie.
Yeah, this movie's kind of backloaded for reasons we'll get into in about 90 minutes when we get there. I forgot. So I had this real weird whiplash moment where the movie begins and I was like, I'm sorry, is that Paul Walker? Did you put... Is this like did you like CG Paul Walker? And 2 minutes later, I was like, oh, it's Fast 5. Okay. All right, Fast 5 plus Jason Momoa. All right. Okay. Yes. Not as ghoulish as I was thinking of. Like, if you guys spent the end of one movie making us cry about the death of Paul Walker, and you're just gonna CG this dude in the movie, I'm gonna lose it.
And then little wink and nods for the next like 3, by the way.
Right.
Or the next 2. And then this. You know what's a really bad idea to start a movie? Reminding people of the best of your movies.
I remember how the last episode we did. Remember the bad way to end a movie that's not that great with the credit sequence of "Look at how cool this other movie was." Yeah, Furiosa,
it's a bad idea, right?
Furiosa and Fast 10 back to back, just making it wrong. I do still really love how they display subtitles, though. That's a thing that I love in these movies. Like, these are not the movies to do stylish subtitles, and they still go for it. I was like, all right, this is still really cool. You guys are doing a great job.
Have you ever seen Man on Fire?
I don't believe so.
Okay, that's the movie responsible for this style of subtitle.
Oh, okay.
First movie I was ever aware of them doing that was Man on Fire.
Oh, okay.
So
interesting.
We'll add that to the Denzel season, I guess.
Yeah. I'm still not sure how I feel about them just being like hey, Fast Five was an incredible movie, right? And I was like, hell yeah, man! Look, they're
Uh-huh.
destroying this whole town with a vault. This is still sick as hell. Look at these two cars. They're
But
just
they're not destroying the favelas, so you know
true.
they're doing it to the right people.
That's true. That's true. Um, it. I get what they're going for, and it's nice to be reminded of Fast Five. I think they do an okay job inserting Momoa into this stuff. It feels the least awkward, like the least ham-fisted you probably could do without your major
No,
actor from
no.
the movie not being there.
No, Older Shore was the best, least awkward insert ever. Where it's just like, oh hey, by the way, I'm the one who killed Han.
Mm,
That is the
true.
best, least awkward one. This
Yeah.
is a. It also doesn't help that he's kind of blue screened into that shot with the
Yeah.
hole in the wall, and you could see the fact that he's
It's
blue screened into it,
for as much
and
money as
it's
this movie costs to film. It was where's the $378 million?
800 million.
You just take another pass at CGing that in. That Fast Five isn't that old, so you know,
Build a set.
build a wall, build two walls, put some dust in there, like,
3 walls and 2 holes. That's all you got to
uh-huh.
do. Like, come on.
Yeah, yeah. Um, I think the whole impetus for
I will say,
yeah, go ahead.
never accept death when suffering is owed is a badass inspiration line
I,
for a bad guy.
that dude coming back for that role is just like, yeah, he's still real good. Like
Mhm.
that guy's real good. I think the introduction to Momoa's character Dante, correct,
Yes, Dante.
is fine. I you give him in the grand tradition of the Fast Saga, you give him the thinnest of introductions and a cool line or two, and then you just kind of turn him loose, and that's fine. Like I don't think that's inherently bad.
Hmm.
I kind of wish there was either a little bit more of that intro with him or almost none. Um,
Yes.
and it has kind of an awkward middle ground of like, okay, sure, and
And based on who and what we see later in the movie,
mhm,
why has he like why does he not never stop?
yeah,
Because it's been like 5 years since Fast Five.
hmm,
Why have we not heard from him sooner?
right,
Why have why has none of this come way before this current point in time?
yeah, and like I get the eventual destination they're going for, which we'll get into much later. Um, but I agree, it's a little bit like, oh yeah, okay, sure. He just kind of popping up, biding his time, doing stuff, bad guy stuff around the world. I don't know.
Psychopath stuff?
Yeah, like I don't know what psychopaths do, so to keep themselves busy. Um, I do like that the movie opens with the ending scene of like, we're having a barbecue, everything's cool. Rita Moreno is here.
Yeah.
Excuse
And
excuse me.
and apparently Han is hot as hell,
Uh
according
huh.
to Tinder.
Yeah.
Don't worry, it usually takes a couple of weeks, and then it's just like match, 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 match,
Really
match, match.
great, really great scene. I did not. I didn't guess half of the people that were showing up in this movie. Rita Moreno was
Uh-huh.
probably literally the last one on my list. So that was nice to see her kind of showing up.
Really great casting though, because
Yes,
I'm pretty sure isn't Vin Diesel of Puerto Rican descent.
I'm not sure.
Um, but I think he's not he's either Puerto Rican or Portuguese. He's one of the two,
Mm-hmm.
and it's really good casting for Rita Moreno to be his
Mm-hmm.
grandmother essentially.
Yeah, it's really good. I do like that this scene reinforces the family aspect of these movies in a way that I was sort of
There's not enough.
at the beginning of this movie. I was like, I don't. Why are we like? Obviously, it pays off at the end, but like, why are we starting with the big like celebration, hooray, like everybody's here, sort of thing, which I thought was
Well,
interesting.
great
But
grandmother's in town because, Dom's 9-year-old son is drifting a charger around a parking lot.
it is. I There is a lot of stuff in this movie with the kid that I think on paper is bad. And I think when it comes to it in the film, I think they managed to nail the right tone for all of it.
Hmm.
I don't think I'm going to be blunt here. It is some of Vin Diesel's worst work I have seen him do on film. Just
He's
out
not
of hand.
great in this movie. He
His
is
little
not
like
great in this movie
angry
at all.
kissy face is the worst it's ever been. Of like someone mean to him, he's like, like screw you, Cypher, kiss. Like it's really not good. But I think
But
the
ironically enough, I think this is some of Michelle Rodriguez's best work.
she's
I think this is so.
I want to talk about
Rome
Michelle
steals the
Rodriguez
show.
for 1 second. I really thought that they were going to do the like Fast Saga version of fridging her because you can't kill her off. That's not gonna fly at this point.
And we've already done that once.
Right, true. But them later being like, oh, she's on like this black site. No one knows where it is. We can't even contact her. I thought it was just like, dang man, she made it like 20 minutes in this movie and you like kicked her off set. Like, sheesh.
Uh-huh.
Thankfully not. But like, she does a
No,
really great job in this.
and like her performances with the kid are fantastic. Like
Yeah.
when he says, like, literally at the start, like he walks in and he's like, I did so good. I'm getting better all the time. You should really come and see it, Mom. And
Mm-hmm.
she has that look. It's a tiny little look of
Mm-hmm.
like, is that the first time he's ever called her mom?
Right.
Because that's a reaction that says it might be the first time he's ever said
Right.
that to
It's very fresh. Yeah.
her. Uh-huh.
Yeah. She does a great job, I think.
Yeah, she's fantastic. Also, screw this movie
Uh-huh.
right off the bat.
Okay, fair enough.
When Vin Diesel goes into the garage and he's having like the little chit chat with Han.
Yeah.
Los Bandoleros for life, by the way.
Right.
Nice callback to the
Yeah.
not officially canon movie.
Mm-hmm.
And then Rita Moreno, or rather, before Rita Moreno comes in, he's got like the memory wall,
Yeah.
and they play that song over
Uh-huh.
him looking at the memory wall, and I'm like, no,
No,
you do not get
I'm
to
not
do this to
crying
me
today.
right at the start.
15 minutes in, I'm not crying. Stop it.
Mhm.
Yeah, Sun Kang again doing a really great job.
Fantastic.
I think with somehow like even less like
Less time.
than ever, which is again it's understandable because there's like 35 actors in this movie. That's an
Yeah,
exaggeration by maybe 3 people. Like it is
Yeah, dude.
the largest cast on film. Like there wasn't even that many people in Summer Wars, and that movie was huge. Like there's
Yes.
so many people in this movie. So like it's understandable
Another
that
movie about family.
which that's see it's all coming together.
Mhm.
So I thought that he was especially good, and I gotta give a lot of credit for the kid they got for Little B. I think he does a really great job throughout the whole movie, and I that has to be a really hard role to play and a really hard role to find someone for, and I think they nailed it.
Because you got to, I mean, ideally, you're looking at someone who's ideally at least mixed race, which is gonna. It's not their fault. It's just our society is a problem when it comes to stuff like this. They've got to. There's a great moment later on with Little B that I love, but we'll get there. They've got to perform well. They've got to understand what they're coming into, and also they've got to know that they're going up against some of the biggest egos and stupidity in Hollywood.
The meatiest men with the biggest baby egos,
Like Vin Diesel doesn't act like he's his son. I hate to say it, but
Yeah.
he doesn't. It's generic as hell when Vin Diesel is acting.
yeah, like there's an interesting comparison here because when you look at how Vin Diesel acts alongside anybody in the movie. I was gonna say it's just Little B. It's really not, because there's the woman later. Um, he acts like a Pez dispenser that's just spitting out one-liners. That's supposed to be like, I could put this on a T-shirt in a couple of years if someone likes this line. And then you compare that to any scene with John Cena and Little B, all of that
It's
feels
so
so good.
charismatic,
Yeah, like, and
so full of heart and
yep.
love and everything, and it's, I hate to say it, it's the wrestling side of John Cena. It's his
Mm,
being able to be approachable and likable to kids.
right.
Like, he did it for 30 years or whatever it was.
Right.
Like,
It
and
just it feels
here,
so much more
so
natural.
good.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. And like Vin Diesel, for the longest time, has really been the lifeblood of these films as kind of the connective tissue.
So,
But
this is my theory.
yeah.
I don't think it was Vin Diesel. I think it was Vin and Paul.
Yeah. Hmm.
Because I think it was their chemistry that. Because one, like, I forget his name, Han, Son.
Sun King.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
He carries Tokyo Drift.
Oh
Him
yeah.
by himself. He takes that franchise on his shoulders and he carries that movie.
Hmm.
But you look at one, and it's really about the two of them. Two is kind of a little bit of disappointment because it's just Paul,
Sure.
and he does a good job. And his like relationship with Ludacris and Rome is fantastic.
His
Uh,
charisma carries so much of it.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then like you get to four, and it's the conflict again. It's the
Yeah.
conflict and the chemistry between the two of them, which made the worst movie of the lot of them
Right.
make ridiculous amounts of money, which led us to five. And then that
Right.
chemistry is just cemented in five when everything starts getting looped in together.
Yeah,
And
because
it's like,
I think something you're missing from this movie is that you have Vin Diesel as the kind of like stoic family man. Family is like the small F and big F. Um, he needs someone else to have that level of charm and charisma, which I think
mhm.
John Cena probably could have filled in that hit that role in this movie had he not been off doing like B plot stuff.
So this is the problem. They split everybody up.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't have a number two.
Yeah, there's like
There's
four
always been,
groups going on.
yeah, and he has nobody. He has
Yeah.
nobody to play off, nobody to bounce off.
He doesn't
Like
even have Letty.
no, the previous movies were like pretty much carried through the like Ludacris and Tyrese's relationship, and the
Yep.
last one was specifically a thing that carried it through on the last one.
Hmm.
The one before that, it was, oh, Shaw is with us now, and
Right.
you know Shaw is going to have a complicated relationship with everybody, including The Rock. Um, but like you have those charismatic like duos throughout all of the cast, and he gets nobody in this because they split him away from everybody.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, so now we've got like the guy from Pitch Black doing the guy from Pitch Black, except he's not acting apart from anybody else.
Well, and like, whenever he's with anybody else, he's with Letty for a little bit. He's with Cypher and a lot of like, why don't I? To give me a reason not to kill
No,
you
he gets
right
like
now.
2 minutes with each of them, dude. This is
Right.
the
And
problem.
it's just like and we see later in the movie where he goes to another destination for we'll talk about that later. It's a scene that is not great. But like even when he's dealing with other characters in the movie, there's just the movie's leaning in his scenes, it has to lean fully on him, and he just can't carry that weight. He can't carry 10, 11 movies worth of weight at this point by himself. And
No.
it's
And like
really apparent.
all of the scenes with him and one other person or two other people, they're doing the heavy lifting. I hate to
Yeah.
say it, Little B carries the shots with him.
Hmm.
Cypher carries the moment where he's doing the angry against the wall thing in like
Yep.
2 minutes time. Cypher carries that.
Oh, she kills that scene. That's like
And like
that's a great scene.
when he goes to Brazil,
Hmm.
like the street racing team carry it, and then Isabel carries it.
Especially
Isabel
that
is
like street racing MC like carries that entire like 15 minutes.
yeah, dude, it's unreal. Like
Yeah.
Vin Diesel is bad. Anyway,
Yeah.
Cypher shows up.
I do want to talk about, yeah, we'll talk about the actor. I really want to give props here in a minute, but I do like the Cypher stuff showing up where she's basically like, hi,
did you notice the car she was driving, by the way?
Yeah, DeLorean, like a DeLorean concept car, whatever.
An
like
electric DeLorean.
It's really good. But I really like that she, first off, she's incredible in everything. She's so good in this movie, in like the
4 Oscar winners in this movie, and all of them were women, by the way.
Yeah, see, give them props, man. I really like that she answers the question immediately of just like, do you think I would be here if I had literally any other options? I don't want to be here. I'm dying. If I could get a little bit of help, I could help you. That would be really great. And I was like, okay, you're at least addressing the elephant in the room of like, why are you here? What are you doing here?
I love the fact that she still has the ego, because she's like, I met the devil tonight, and I thought that was me. So that's super disappointing.
That's right. I thought I was the worst one, but man, this dude.
And I love Letty being an absolute badass too. Like, she goes up, she gets little B. She's like, we've got unexpected company. You know what to do. And then as he goes into, I'm assuming, a safe hole, she's just screwing a silencer on a 9mm while she's walking down the stairs. Sorry, suppressor.
She's all business. I like it. And I like too that like the line of, you know what to do, is that extension from 8 or 9 where they're in that farmhouse and they get attacked then, and they clearly have like an underground kind of safe
I don't
room.
even remember that.
Yeah, there's something there. Like, there's at least an extension of, they were a little caught unawares at that point, so they're a little bit more prepared this time.
So what do you think about the real introduction to Dante here, where he breaks into Cypher's place?
I think this scene is incredibly cool. Seeing Cypher,
and we might as well get this off the top of it, by the way, as well. Jason Momoa is a mountain of a man.
He's huge, man. It doesn't help that he has like 50 pounds of hair as well. Like, it's just he's a large fella. But I like that you see Cypher kind of at her cockiest, of just like, you come into my house, like, what are you gonna, look at all these dudes I have with all these guns. What are you gonna do? I'm paying all these dudes. Like, what is that? And seeing that turn
where he's like, oh, I didn't come here to see you, I came here to see John.
It's and then like very pointedly
and
looking
Victor.
at
And he's like, father of James and father of Jeff.
It's such a good introduction of like, and then he kills that dude and he's like, I didn't have anything on him. He doesn't even have a pet. Like, I couldn't kidnap anybody.
They all had something to take except for that poor B word.
Yep.
And then he sucks like the razor blade knives that he's using, which is just ugh.
Yeah. Well, and
who could that be when everyone's phone starts ringing is a great line. Who could that be? He's so camp. We need to talk about this, right?
Easily my favorite part of this movie is Momoa's portrayal of so the thing that I like the most about this movie, in multiple ways, Fast 10 plays with what it means to be a Fast Saga movie. And a big part of that is Jason Momoa's over the top. You said camp. I think camp is a really great word. This like larger than life, like, flamboyant is a loaded word, so I'm trying not to use it. But there's this like,
I think it's appropriate. It is very appropriate. It is like camp, flamboyant, over the top. They're all synonyms of a very similar kind of thing.
I don't mean flamboyant in the anti-gay
the traditional
sort of way. I mean,
the traditional
kind of
gay
like,
stereotype.
Yeah, I mean this kind of this like larger than life. Like, I love that he is so out of place in this movie. He's wearing, everything looks so different from everybody. He's acting so differently. Is
it a pink suit he's wearing in the very first scene?
Lavender pink, something like that. Like, it's just he moves so much differently. Like, there's this like fluidity to his character that I think is such a good foil for everything else in the movie. That is, I'm hacking into the MI6, and I'm just and like
like it's the irony of like having your main villains for the past couple of movies be like, can't even remember the last one. Cypher,
yep,
Shaw, Reyes, all hyper super serious people,
mm-hmm.
and then he comes along and he still has those moments, those flip the switch, let's just
Yes,
murder everybody kind of moments,
mm-hmm.
and he transitions into them so well.
Yeah.
But the from A to B part of it is just superbly and uniquely performed.
And I think what helps the movie so much is he is genuinely funny in a lot of the stuff, but like you said, when that switch flips, and it flips back and forth pretty often, it's really unsettling. And
Yeah, he says to Cypher, "You want to control the world, I want to punish it," and that's a creepy line.
it's such a great line. And like he flips back and forth between, I'm having fun with this, I'm humming a tune, and I'm spinning around, well, let's do some ballet, to like, blam, murdered somebody, spinning around doing something. Like there's never a doubt about how real the threat that he's leveraging towards people is. Like he's going to do the things that that he says he's going to do, and he's going to make it hurt the entire time before he kills you. Like that, I think that is, there's this great,
and it doesn't feel out of place.
No,
like we've had some movies where you've had that moment where it's just like the flip has happened, and you're just like, that doesn't feel earned.
Like some of the
let's
stuff
go back to Alien.
Yeah.
So let's go all the way back to Alien when Ian Holm flips,
right,
and then turns into a full-on crazy android. It feels earned. It doesn't feel surprising. It feels earned because he's been a bit off the whole time. And this is very much a similar thing where it's just like, yeah, he's a loose cannon and he's weird and he's eccentric, but also the way he presents himself, the way he performs the role, it's like, yeah, you know, there's violence at the end. You know,
he's gonna do it.
The fun will end, and the violence will begin.
Right. It's like feels like a direct answer to the bad guy in Fast 2, where it's like he takes a turn later, and it's like, oh, okay. I mean, the movie has to have a villain, so like, sure.
Yeah.
But like, I kind of almost don't buy it. I buy it the entire time, and I think I like that there's a little bit of a loosening of this kind of like overwhelming machismo from these movies, not only from a lot of the newer actors, but especially from Momoa in this role, is sort of like, he isn't here just being like, I'm bigger and louder and meatier than you are. It really is like, no, I'm going to torture you, and I'm going to kill you, and I'm probably going to blow up half of the people in this film. So good luck. Who are you going to save? And it's like, dang, okay, great.
Yep.
Sure.
He's very real.
Yeah.
We'll say.
It's an interesting switch here, though, because you have this great introduction to Momoa, and then it cuts to Rome with the kind of like Rome away team, which is
the Rome away team led by Rome.
Yeah, Roman, Tej, who's
Ramsey,
thank you, and one more person, right?
It's just them, isn't it?
Yeah, maybe it's just the three of them. Tyrese.
So this is the thing that bothers me about this movie is the splitting up of the teams.
Yeah.
Like, I think Tej and Rome have an interesting arc in this movie, but if you cut their entire section together, it's 10 minutes.
And like, I think
Ramsey is not in this movie enough.
No, and she's really great. I hate that she's not in it enough. I think Ludacris does a really great job in this. I think he's been getting better and better every movie. I think Tyrese has trouble carrying as much of this movie as he does. I don't think he's a bad actor. I just think you kind of can't lead an operation and be the comedic relief at the same time.
Hmm.
Or for whether that's how this movie is written, that it kind of falls down, or Tyrese himself, I'm not sure. But it just kind of, it never really meshed together in a way that was like, oh,
Oh,
okay, yeah, let's see this
Han
group.
was with them.
Okay, that's what I was wondering, if he was with them. I couldn't remember.
Because Rome is driving a gold-plated Lamborghini
That's
and
right.
they stick Han in a Peugeot.
That's that's true. That's pretty good.
And we get the D&D campaign throwaway line here when everybody's hit their max level cap,
Mm-hmm.
because they're talking about the cars and Ramsey's like, well, yeah, the Lamborghini is faster, but the Renault, because it has this huge engine
Yeah.
in it, but the Renault will probably be better in this situation because of the environment. And like Tej looks at her and she goes, "Oh, that's right, I know stuff now." And it's like, "Thank you for the throwaway line
Mm-hmm.
explaining why you know about cars now."
I do kind of like that line of like, I know things now, of just like, you got to stop doubting me, but she's not
Oh,
in it
and yeah,
enough.
and Tej learned kung fu between two different movies, so
Hey, he went to space. There was plenty of time to learn some new stuff.
Now I'm talking about between like 5 and 6 or
Yeah, it's
something.
like
He
whenever
learned
he
to
was
fight.
like on permanently, they're like, all right, now we need to teach him some stuff.
I will say, Tiny Tej did get a laugh out of me,
Tiny Tej is pretty good. I do have to say, like, that's
especially considering he says the first line that he ever said in the franchise, which is like the "all right, all right, all right, fire it up,"
uh-huh.
when
It's
it's
so
the
good.
from Too Fast Too Furious's race. Like
Yep,
that's great.
it's really great. There's some stuff here that I think is pretty classic Fast Saga stuff that I think works okay. Um, them getting into the truck that has the, we're stealing a computer chip. It's the agency has us
A
do it. Blah blah
quantum
blah.
computer for the military something or
Yeah, like
another.
the reasons why they're there don't matter anymore. It's a Fast Saga movie. They're there to do a
Yeah.
heist and drive fast cars. So like
Yep.
that
For the agency specifically.
for
So
the
they're not
agency, yeah.
technically criminals.
Right. So like that, them getting in the car is pretty good. I like the sudden glare off of the gold car blinding the
Yep.
drivers. That's pretty good.
Couldn't have just made that bit be gold. Had to make the whole car be gold.
Feels very much like him. So like it's
Yes,
on
true.
brand. Um, I think the kind of reveal from Dante here of like, oh, oh, you thought you were gonna get some like fancy chip, eh? It's a bomb.
Hmm.
It's just like,
Yep.
okay, cool.
Congratulations, you're locked in. I'm driving this remotely, and you're in a bomb.
This bomb's going to the
Um,
Vatican, baby. And I was like, all
the fact
right.
that no, we need to talk about that bit because that
Uh-huh.
bit's gold. But like the fact that he taps into their radio and like Dom's there and he knows Dom's gonna be there and he's literally 10 steps ahead of them every single step of the way.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yep.
But when he's like got the bomb and everything and he's like, oh, it cuts to him and he's got the two IT guys who he stole from Cypher,
Yes.
which he said, "Nerds come with me" at
Yep.
the end of the last shot.
Yep.
And he's just like, "All right, dorks, what are we blowing up?"
Mm-hmm.
Waits a beat, looks at behind him. They say nothing, and he goes, "The Vatican? You guys are going to hell."
That's
And
a
it's just
really,
like,
it's a
it's
really
such a good
good.
delivery.
Yeah, like his level of like aghast at his own plans tickled me for the entire movie. Of just like, oh my god, I'm gonna do what? I would never. Anyways, like that never got old for me.
Yeah, it's so
Um,
good, and this is the ball rolling through Rome
I
scene
like
for
this
everybody.
scene quite a
I
bit.
think it's good.
This is the last. By the way, for anyone listening home, this is the last note I wrote on the movie was the Roman chase scene with the rolling bomb was cool. That's where my that's where my notes end. Um,
Yeah,
and I like seeing it rolling through Rome. I like them kind of like trying to bat it around and get it to the river.
yes,
I'm really I had a moment where Dom at the very end was like, I know what to do. I'll go take care of it. And you could see him like running off of the bridge to the crane. I was like, if
hmm
this thing swings around and hits this ball like a baseball bat, I'm going to lose my mind. You can't do that. Thankfully, it just like nudges it off the bridge into the water, and I was like, okay. Because if it just did a like crack home run, like I would have been like, you. This is the end of the Fast Saga. We can't make any more of these. Like the crowd goes wild. Like, yeah, like you can't go that anime with these movies.
They do like a lot of like using my wrestling terminology here, but they do a whole bunch of like false finishes with it, where like little nobody's trying to show up so he can, you know, kill it with a kill switch from the agency, and like that's what causes Dante to go chasing after him on a bike, which causes Letty to chase after him on the bike because they need to keep the tracker thing. I do love the fact that like he kicks down the lights that go between a car, like the thing, and Letty does this cool little backflip wheelie thing over it, and it's a great moment because it cuts to him and he's like bravo, and he's praising the fact that he did it.
That's such a cool shot too, man. Like I don't know nothing about motorcycles. That's a cool scene. Like, and for just for him to be
cool
like
little jump.
Yeah, and for him to just be like, dang, that was cool. And I was like, look, even the bad guy thinks that's cool. Good job, Letty. Dang.
It's fantastic. But like they do the false finish of it stopping, and then little nobody's truck gets blown up and gets pool cues it down the steps a little bit further, kind of thing. It's a lot. It's a big, expensive sequence, and I think it's fine.
It's solid.
But I don't like the stop-start nature of it, where it stops, it's like problem solved, then it keeps going.
Yeah.
And also, I'm sorry, but no casualties?
Come on. Let's be real here. Like
they show a helicopter shot of that hole in the ground. And there's like blocks of buildings that have been torn in half, and it's like no casualties.
Even Marvel was like, hey, you remember what that thing you did with that giant island? Killed a lot of people, man. Like, if Marvel can even do, like, Rome was empty for the day. Like everyone went on vacation.
Yeah.
Like,
the front entrance to the Vatican had no visitors.
Just nobody. They're so weird. It's closed for maintenance. Don't worry about it. Like
it was Sunday. Everyone was in church. You're all okay.
Right. That's right. That's right. So like, I agree. I think it's a fine action scene. It's a big old blockbuster popcorn scene. I think it's interesting that even Dante later in the movie is just like, hey man, I put that together just like the bank thing, just like the vault chase scene. You see the similarities? Now I'm gonna kill you. Like it's sort of like, okay, at least we're calling it out as like an homage that makes it.
But it
doesn't really make it better.
Is this one of those things where it's like it's not a good joke if you have to explain it? Is it not a good reference if you explain it? But also he kind of has to reference it because of who he is and what that means to him.
It makes enough sense with his character, and like we've seen enough stuff in the last couple of years that have come out that's been like we're just referencing that. It's just we're running the hits back. So for them to call it out was at least appreciated.
And then we get our next guest appearance of a performer, as all of the family are now on the most wanted list, by the way. Again, shock of shocks.
Yeah.
Who do we get, Boston?
Is this where Brie Larson shows up?
Brie Larson, yes. But before Brie Larson, we get Alan Ritchson showing up as the new leader of the agency.
Okay. Oh, I have to talk about the agency in this movie. How many kids does Mr. Nobody have? Because I feel like I know the movie. I know that he is like the de facto leader of the agency.
He has one.
Right now. I know, but the way the movie sets it up, it feels like it's a brother-sister relationship between the two of them. And
yes,
for her to be
little nobody feels like a brother as well in kind of a funny way.
And like I feel like they needed to be a little bit more explicit about that because it felt very much like, well, I'm his daughter. And he's like, well, I'm the leader of the agency. Look at how big I am. Look at my side buzz. Oh, yeah. Like, it just...
I like Alan Ritchson. Like, I think he's actually a genuinely great actor. Minor nerd thing here, but he's also part of the DC expanded universe, Boston. He was Aquaman in the Smallville TV show.
Okay. I'm trying to think of what else I recognize him.
Jack Reacher. is why you know him.
Jack
He is
Reacher.
Reacher in
Okay,
the
I've
new
never
Amazon show.
seen Reacher, but I have
You've
seen
seen clips, would be
trailers
my
all over
guess.
the place because Amazon needs all the like 50-year-old dads to watch that TV show.
Yes.
Yeah.
He is phenomenal in that show.
Yeah.
He is genuinely phenomenal. Also, he seems to be a really nice, calm, down to earth person. He
Hmm.
did an interview talking about like the Reacher like thing where he was trying to get the job,
Hmm.
and he went in and like did a test for it in front of everybody, mic'd up and all that kind of stuff. His heart was beating so hard that they picked it up on the microphone that he was wearing.
That's great.
So he had to go in and do it a second time, and
Right.
he was like, "That's my heartbeat," and just ripped the microphone off between like doing the performances.
Right.
He is being completely open about being totally anxious,
Mm.
like toxic masculinity.
Right.
He is as of this recording, seems to be a beacon of common sense.
Right.
And I really appreciate him for that. I'm
Yeah.
hoping he hasn't come out in support of particular parties. I don't know.
Right. Fingers
But
crossed. Yeah.
from the things I've seen from him from a normal human being side, seems like a genuinely down to earth and really nice person.
And I think in this movie he does the best with what he has. I think this has to be a really hard role to play, not just for stuff later in the movie, but just like
Because you know who he's technically replacing, right?
right.
His build, his size, his look. You know who he's supposed to be replacing.
Yeah, and like when you see him from behind in the intro of this movie, because he's the only person wearing a blue suit in the office in the intro. I'm sort of like, that's John Cena, and I was like, oh no, it actually isn't. Okay, cool. Well, good on them for finding another Cena.
Yep.
But like,
And he also kind of replaces The Rock too, dude. Like
true, yeah.
he's the cop.
Yeah, he's like the big cop dude. I think he does a solid job in a role that is hard with how charismatic Mr. Nobody was.
Yes.
I think it's hard to put anybody else in that role. So I think he's fine. I think he's
Yeah.
okay.
And I like the fact that he's also kind of the audience cipher, where he's just like, what? Everybody who they go against suddenly becomes a member of the family.
Exactly.
It's a cult with cars.
That's a great line, by the way.
It's a
But,
really
like,
great line.
That's the thing that I appreciate about this movie so much is it laying the groundwork really early about like, okay, so everybody that this group comes in contact with is gonna be friends. It's the Yakuza game things. You're my sworn enemy, and then 30 hours later, whoops, you're one of my party members, we're best friends. It's very much the same thing of just like, we're all going to be at the cookout at the end of the movie, and everybody's friends, and how could we ever be enemies? I like that.
Speaking of the cookout, we forgot to mention at the cookout at the beginning, there was an empty seat next to Mia, which I like.
Yes, true. But like, I like that they just very bluntly call it out of like, okay, well, we're just everybody's friends in this group, this cult with cars. What are we doing here? Like, why are we? Like, Mr. Nobody gave them a lot of credit and really fought for them. I'm not. I think they should be behind bars. It's like, dang, okay.
Different people are in charge now. Ooh, it's almost like that has another effect. Ooh, ooh, shivers.
Yeah. Ooh, got me.
Yeah, Brie Larson shows up too in the same scene.
I love Brie Larson so much. I think she does a great job, as great of a job as she can in this movie.
5 minutes.
She is a better actor than you use for 5 minutes in this movie. Like you gotta
100%.
You gotta put she's wearing some cool suits in this movie. That's great.
Cool outfits in general. Like everything she wears is a banger of an outfit.
Yeah, super cool. I think she does as well of a job as she can with what she has. And a lot of it is like, I'm Mr. Nobody's daughter. Get out of my way. And it's like, okay, sure. I mean,
also one of the Oscar winners, by the way.
Yes.
Just so you know.
Yeah.
Do you want to know the other three while we're here?
Yeah, sure.
Rita Moreno, Charlize Theron, and Helen Mirren.
Okay. I mean, those all make sense. Yeah.
Yep. Speaking of Helen Mirren, there she is.
Yep. Shows up for a minute to smack some sense in a dom.
Yep. Give him a little bit of a warning.
Yep.
Everybody's gone to ground. Blah, 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 blah.
Yep.
2 seconds of screen time for the senior show, I guess.
Yes. She's great.
Yeah, she really is. Oh, and Jacob gets to protect Mia while she's babysitting. I did not like the fact that he won in the Hot Wheels game, and then he says it doesn't matter if you win by an inch or a mile. I hate that so much.
Come on. You can't. Those are opposites. Come on.
That's a reference you do not need to make.
Yeah.
In the slightest.
That's right.
But the fact that Jacob comes in and saves them from the agency who are attacking the house now.
Mm-hmm.
It's a decent little action scene.
It's
And I
not
like
bad.
the fact that he goes full Rainbow Six Siege on it.
Yeah.
Where, like, he's upstairs. He goes upstairs, he's having a fight upstairs or something like that. And as he's walking down the corridor, he just plugs 3 holes into the wall.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, 2 shots later, it's the guys coming up past that wall, and he's on the other side shooting through the holes at them. It's just like, yeah, you guys played Rainbow Six Siege between these movies, didn't you?
You got some fans on
He does do the attitude adjustment through a floor, for the record, for my wrestling fans out there. That's John Cena's finishing move.
Okay.
I had to point it out because somebody would have otherwise.
Sure.
Yeah, Jacob saves everybody's.
Yeah, Jacob saves everybody. It's nice to see Mia in this again. Again, nobody gets any screen time in this movie, which is fine. But I'd like to see more of her in this.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Do we see Mia again? Because she gives little B to Jacob. Jacob takes little B in his tiny little blue car.
It's a great scene.
And they go elsewhere.
I don't think we see her
Mia
again.
goes somewhere else. I think this is the last appearance of Mia in this movie, other than on screens.
I think it might be. That's a bummer.
Yeah.
She can drive now. Let her drive stuff.
Yep. She can fight. She showed it in the Chinatown fight that she had in one of the last 2 movies.
One of the
last 2 movies.
One of the last 5 movies. I do really like Little B coming out and just being like, "Oh, look at this truck. This is the sickest thing on the planet. This is the coolest thing. I can't wait to get." He's like, "No, it's over here." I was like, "Beep beep." This little guy. Hello.
Like, this one. This is my car.
And like I like them playing with expectations like that of like, of course John Cena would be driving the biggest truck on the planet, and he looks over here, he's like, "Nope, this is mine." Hee hee. Like
it's like a 1995 like Charger, I believe, or a Camry. It's something.
It's like his dream car too, which is so good. Of just like, yeah,
it's the one he raced his brother in, or that you saw in the last movie.
Just like the largest dude on the planet is just like, this tiny car is my dream car. Get in.
Yep. But again, 5 minutes of screen time cut up between now and the end of the film for B and, well, maybe 15 minutes for those.
It's not
B and John.
Yeah.
But we'll get to them. I do like the fact that Little Miss Nobody, Brie Larson, walks into a bar looking for somebody, fights off like 5 people. He's like, "I want to buy drinks for everybody." Everyone fights her. Yep. She gets the shotgun, and then she's like, "Anyone for shots?" Shots.
And her like, her saying thank you when he gives her 2 beers. She's like, "Thanks so much." Like the like cheeriness is really good.
The fact that she actually buys Belgians.
Yep.
It's like, no, my guy wants a Corona with a lime.
That's right.
Please.
Right. Don't you know him? Yeah. I don't even remember. She's fighting.
I can run you through this. She fights at the bar. Then Dom asks her to go get Letty, gives her the little cross. She goes and stabs Letty in the shoulder to get her out of the black site and into some form of medical place.
Right.
And then we go to Rio.
Hold on. That black site looks incredibly cool, though. With like
that
opening
brick doors that open up. Yeah, dude.
Hexagon doors that look sick as hell.
Did it remind you of like Doom and Wolfenstein? Because it sure reminded me of that kind of thing.
More than anything else, like that thing.
Oh yeah, that's actually
cool as hell. It's like, dang, yeah, I want to work at super secret black site, and then my family would never find my body. That'd be cool.
Yeah, we head to Rio, and like we can't help but do the dance music and booty shorts sequence because it's a Fast and the Furious movie.
Man, I
Here is here is my question.
sure.
If you cut out the full recap of 5 that they did at the beginning,
Hmm.
and then the mini recap of 5 they did at the end,
Yeah.
and then the booty short sequence,
Uh-huh.
this is a 2-hour movie, right?
Yeah.
You don't
I
need to do the full recap at the start. Just show the safes on the bridge. Problem solved.
like that can be your intro, like intro credits scene of just like I don't hate the car meet pink slip scenes. I really thought we were past it by this
That's
point.
why I hate it.
Yeah.
That is why I hate it because they address this in 5. In
Mm.
5, they do the booty shorts
Mm.
and street racing scene. It's a like maybe a 5 to 10 second sequence. It's not. This feels like it's about 4 minutes long.
Yeah,
This
it's much
music
longer than the
dance
others.
music sequence.
Yeah.
But then in 5, they go, okay, time to race for pinks, and then it cuts to them in the garage with the new car. You don't even see the street
That's a
race.
that's a great
You just
scene.
know they won.
Yep.
It's fantastic, and it's like,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, we are past this point now.
Right.
We are no longer street racing booty shorts.
And like that's what I think there's an element of this movie that it's tough because part of the movie feels like we're going to upend a lot of the beats that you expect out of these movies, and then the other half of the movie is just kind of playing those beats of just like we're playing the hits, like, and that's fine to a certain element, but like we're gonna have a car racing scene and someone's gonna hit the NOS too early and whoa, big flashy cars and we're all racing and
Yeah,
like
I will say, I actually don't mind this street race specifically because this street race is with the bad guy
yeah,
who shows up in his bright purple car.
it's so, and like the level of menace, it's such a great scene from like an acting standpoint because all Vin Diesel is doing is sitting there and doing the kissy face or doing the kissy face with wide surprised eyes, and Momoa is chewing every bit of scenery around him and then dropping it and being like, who do you choose to save?
Uh-huh. I'm
Like,
sorry, but I can't let does the carpet match the drapes? Yes, it does. Thank you very much for asking line. Roll on
it's
past.
he's so good
Such
in this,
great
man.
delivery because he's like stroking his car, which is purple,
Yeah.
in his purple suit
Yep.
while he's doing
With his
it.
like
and it's-
painted nails, like it's so
Uh-huh.
so good. Like, but like he's switching between that, like making jokes and being unsettling, to like, Dom, how do you choose who to save? Because you have to
Yep.
choose, and someone
And-
needs to die.
So this is the part that really annoys me
Hmm.
because we get introduced to I don't even know his name. Dogo?
The DJ, like
Diogo.
the MC
The
guy.
leader of the Brazil street racing gang, the guy who stood up for Dom against The Rock, the guy who stood up for Dom here against
Yep.
Dante, and this new woman who has apparently just won, but we don't know who she is because we've
Like
never met her before.
The like dark horse street racer. Everyone's like, oh, she's
Yeah,
gonna
and
win.
we're supposed to care about her,
Right.
but we don't because we don't know who she is,
And
which
like,
gets revealed after Dom saves her.
and like, honestly, until you just mentioned it, I didn't remember the MC guy either. Like,
Yeah.
there've been, like we said, there's like 35 to
30
50
something.
people in each one of these movies. I can't remember everybody in these movies. So it's nice to see that he comes back, but that's just another hit they're playing, kind of.
Yes.
Yeah.
But the really stupid thing is it doesn't hit the way the guy hit in 5. When they first get to Brazil in 5 and they head to the favelas and they see the jerk off from 1 is
Yeah.
there to greet them, and he calls Paul Buster, and he's like, Buster. Or he's like, Mia! Buster.
Right.
It's such... That hits so hard because it's been 4 movies since we've seen them.
Right.
It doesn't feel like we've had the same amount of progression in the past 4 movies for me to care about that dude.
And like, and I think it's a really great scene where the dude hits the NOS too early and takes the lead, and
I literally said out loud, by the way, too soon, Junior, because I can't not say that anytime someone hits the nose too
again,
early.
playing the hits again. But like, I really like that there's a bit of a fake out here with Dante of like, you really shouldn't have done that, and he flips the lid on one of the NOS things and pushes it, and a bomb gets activated under one of their cars instead of him hitting like a turbo nos like you kind of expect. And I really like him arming both of those and just being like, okay, Dom, who are you going to pick? It's just a real bummer. It's two people I don't care about. Like you said.
Yeah.
Like, I just...
The problem with having a big family is how do you protect them all is the great revealing line said at the start of this race.
Yep.
And it's like, that's great and all, but you should really drop the fact that Isabel is Helena's sister before the race.
Yeah. Because
that reveal doesn't... it hits a little bit, but I'm sorry, you need that before. Like, you drop that before the race, and it's a different stakes entirely.
Also, I really like the reveal that she's her daughter of, like, here's the picture on the wall. It's like, okay, here's the one actor... Oh, sister. Here's the one actor we couldn't get back for this movie. Here's her picture.
Yep.
It's sort of like...
She's dead. She took a bullet to the brain. She's dead.
Yeah, she's all the way not in these movies anymore. So, like...
Also, she's having a wonderful life with her husband, Chris Hemsworth, by the way.
Oh, good for her. But yeah, like, all of this...
I'm sorry. I forgot during the introduction of the street race when Dante shows up and he's like, "Oh, Dom, it's so good to meet you. So glad you're here. Enchanté." And does a little bow thing. He says enchanté like 5 times in this movie.
He really does.
Incredible.
It's great.
It's so good. Yeah, whatever.
This whole thing with her sister, the whole thing falls flat. The like explosion with the MC guy just doesn't feel great.
Her performance is great. It's his performance that drags it down.
And like, thank you, baby Jesus. They finally lit a scene in this movie where like the lighting with the blinds in her apartment looks incredible throughout the entire scene. Thank you. Really love it. Calling out good lighting in any of these movies I can. And like you said, she's carrying it and he's just all meh. I mean, a family.
Do you know why you know her face, by the way? Because I was like, I know her face. I know I've seen something with her in it, and I don't know what it is.
Sure.
Welcome back to the DC Ratcatcher, baby. Ratcatcher 2 from the Suicide Squad.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
In a completely different performance.
That's a cut, yeah. This whole thing is fine. This is like...
It's rough.
When you're playing the hits, and you're playing the hits from an album that nobody liked... you get another Dom scene. And that's kind of like...
you get Chinese Democracy is what you get.
Exactly. It's like, here's our lead single from Chinese Democracy. It's like, okay. Thanks. I'm going to go get a beer. I'll be back in 3 to 5 minutes.
Yep.
This is like the
I will say,
run to the bathroom
at
scene.
At some point here, we missed my favorite Dante scene, which is him doing the nails of the nerds that he's killed.
The two dead guys are just like, someone's gonna come back to bury you.
Two IT nerds.
Like, it's just...
and he's just talking to himself the whole time with these two people with eyes taped open, noses taped up, knives sticking out of them.
Down, he's like,
flies buzzing around everywhere as well. It's a really nice touch. It's like, don't touch that, let that dry.
That's right.
Don't touch that.
Him telling you to pay attention,
as he's getting up and leaving, he's like, finish those mimosas, let that dry, someone will be here to bury you in a little bit. And he just walks off.
It's really good.
It shows you his awareness of the fact that he knows what he's done, because he's clearly he knows that they need to be buried.
Right.
But also he's talking to two dead guys and painting their nails and making them mimosas. Did he make the mimosas himself?
Probably.
For these two
he
dead
seems
people?
very handy.
Yeah, I mean, that's true.
He's a generous host.
Hey, we're back in London again. For what feels like about 20 minutes of footage that was cut to 6.
There's something going on with this scene, man.
Because Rome gets them to London, the city with the most security cameras in the world. Good job, everybody.
Yep.
Then they go to buy under a black market computer because Roman cannot leave without his vest full of money anywhere, apparently.
Yeah.
And it's like an internet cafe from 1995.
Run by what's his name?
Pete Davidson.
Pete Davidson, who's a very funny guy and like does not get enough screen time to be nearly any good in this movie.
They're fun muffins. Don't that $100 isn't even going to touch the fun muffins. But then Han gets high, and it's about 4 seconds of footage.
There's like it's sort of the thing of just like you don't. The rest of the scene is funny just because it looks so out of time. You don't need to have these muffins.
I think they broke the copier so that it works again. Is a great line from Pete Davidson.
That is pretty good, and like all of it is already.
Sorry, you're causing several tens of dollars of damage, I think is one of the lines that he says.
That's also there's some good stuff in this scene.
He's amazing.
Yeah. And like you just don't need the muffins. It's like one step too many. Like when you go and see an improv show and there's one too many yes ands, it's just like you don't just cut some of this and get to kind of the better part. The like insistence of having the receipts is a joke that wore itself out almost immediately, in a way that I thought was pretty frustrating.
The only part of that that's funny is the part that's coming up in a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Which I love, but we'll get to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. Pete Davidson, who snitches them out, they need to go find someplace else. But Han happens to know a guy in London.
A wink.
We'll get there. We'll get there. Because we have to talk about Letty and Cypher fighting each other in the medical bay.
Man, this is a great fight scene.
Hey, Boston.
Yeah.
No director on set that day.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they shot that with no director.
Just beating the hell out of each other for the fun of it. Like,
yeah.
This is a great scene.
How are we going to get out? Okay, so we go out through this hatch here. That's what you're saying? Uh-huh. And how long do we have? 4 minutes? Okay, that'll do. Whap!
Yeah. This is... The two of them kill it. I mean, I feel like over the last couple of movies, I feel like maybe I've underestimated Michelle Rodriguez a little bit because her screen time has gotten cut down considerably sort of as the movies have gone on. The two of them put a hell of a scene out on this. It's a nasty fight.
I think I've underestimated Michelle Rodriguez her entire career.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, maybe this is like the wrestling thing where you only become like the best version of yourself in like your late 30s, early 40s. Like you might be able to do stuff different when you're younger, but the best version of you is like that kind of range when you've got the experience and the knowledge and you know how to do stuff.
Right.
Michelle Rodriguez is amazing in this movie.
Yeah, she's great.
Facial performances, body languages, everything that she does, I feel she knocks it out the park. We really should watch that Dungeons and Dragons movie, is what I'm saying.
We really need to. I've heard it's very good. I forgot she's in there.
Like, she's and she plays like a barbarian, dude.
That's great. That's perfect. It's a perfect role. Yeah, we need to watch that.
She is incredible in this, and this fight scene is tough and nasty, and like the good guy throws glass in the bad guy's eyeball to win.
It's like a knockdown, drag out, like alley behind the bar fight. Like it's brutal.
It's great.
So good.
I loved it. This fight scene is so good. It's visceral and real, and I hate using the term visceral, but it feels it. And like the impacts are all great. They used the whole of the set too, because like they're originally fighting up top. Right. And then they go through the window back to like the med lab thing that they were in, and
true.
It's a great fight scene. And then Cypher gets knocked out, and then she starts climbing the vent, which we'll get to later. Again, 5 minutes.
Yeah. That's a bummer.
Yes. But John Cena, Jacob and Little B go on the plane through the airport where they want to be seen because they want the agency to know where they are.
Carrying that
so they know.
Gigantic bag.
Kayak. Yeah. Excuse me. And he has that moment where he's like, "Excuse me. Okay. No. Okay,
you go this way.
You go around.
Yeah.
I'll just go straight.
I'll stop moving.
You just go around first."
Yep.
And Little B, trained by Dom, is putting the hat on immediately as they
Mm-hmm.
go into the airport, and he's like, "No, no, I want them to see us." So he
Yeah,
takes the hat off, and it's like, "Yeah, you know about the surveillance state, don't you?"
that's right.
I need, I need to give two shout outs to their scene on the plane.
Okay.
Number one, I love the fact that Little B says he doesn't do so well on planes.
Mm-hmm.
And then Jacob gives him this great story about how he was terrified of cars. Why is Little B terrified of planes, Boston?
I don't remember. Is that something from the last 8 or 9 had like a really big plane scene? Is that it?
Little B was on Cypher's plane when Cypher shot his
It's a
mother in
plane.
front
That's
of him,
right.
and then to escape the plane, the Shaws played past the baby while killing all of the Cypher's men.
I forgot that was on a plane. Right. That's
It is a
okay.
extremely nice little touch where it's
It's
like,
good.
okay, he doesn't do on planes. Chef's kiss. Mwah,
Yeah.
bravo. Thank you for looping a great character moment for him
Mm-hmm.
based on something that happened 3 movies ago. It's
Yeah.
such a nice little touch. 8 was that one, I believe.
Okay. That makes sense.
But it's like when he says I don't do well on planes, so it's like, why is that? And then a light bulb hit in
Ding.
my head, and I was like,
Oh
oh,
right,
his
the whole
mom was
mom
killed
thing.
in front of him
Right,
when
right,
he was
right.
a baby, and then passed the baby with the brothers. Oops, I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah.
It's a great touch. Also, don't know if you know this or not. The air hostess gives him a bunch of vodka
Mm-hmm.
and the key to the under the galley thing, and he says, "I've got friends in high places." It's Paul Walker's daughter.
Great. It's pretty great.
It's a nice, it's unspoken line, no like
Right.
role, no nothing like that. But that's Meadow, I think is her name.
That's
It's
nice.
Paul Walker's daughter who plays
I
that.
I think this is also the start of the like holy poops, like don't swear unless it's song lyrics, or was that in the car? That's a great
That
piece
was
of
in
business.
that that was in the car. Where he's
Okay,
like,
that's
it's only okay if it's song lyrics or
stub
stubbing your
toes.
toe
That's right.
is okay.
That's right. That's a good piece of business throughout the rest of the movie. I like that kind of. It feels
Yes.
it feels genuine from John Cena as a person and
And
not as
also from
Jacob.
an uncle.
Mm-hmm.
Like from an uncle's perspective too. Like I feel like it works for Jacob as well. Like
Yeah.
it's a nice little thing because he knows the type of person he is. He knows the
Mm-hmm.
type of person Dom is, and as they said at the very beginning, pass it on and make the next generation better. That's all
Right.
you got to do is make the next generation better.
Right.
Oh, and the kayak was a plane, by the way.
That's. Yep. Of course it
Great
is.
reveal.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic reveal. Like, oh, hey, by the way, this thing, it's a plane. It's
Ta-da.
not a kayak. And now we're going to just drop ourselves out of this plane. And
Mm-hmm.
I like the fact that when they're getting ready, he was like, I'm really glad it wasn't the height that made you freak out because we were on a plane. As he pulls the ejecto button and just
Mm-hmm.
drops them out of this plane.
Yep. Pretty
Again,
good.
great performance.
Yep.
Yes. Hey. Shaw's back.
I don't know about the scene, man.
What's stupid about this scene is this scene was the end of credits for the last movie. It was the after
That's
credit
right.
sequence at the end of the last movie.
That's right. It just there's something off about this whole scene, and I kind of can't put my finger on it. It's almost like those scenes you watch where it's like, oh, the two of you were not in the same room recording this scene. Like you were on different continents, and Netflix just sort of smushed them together.
It wasn't Bogdan from Mission Impossible 3 or 4 in the body bag that put you off?
It's just like it's a fine scene, and it's a pretty good action scene, but there's also an element of like I'm a little tired of action scenes like an hour and a half into this movie that still has an hour left. Like,
Uh-huh.
couldn't we just like punch it out for a couple minutes and then be like, all right, I'm cool.
Mhm.
I'm Jason Statham.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then he like at the end he's just like, they're like, where are you going? He's like, I'm leaving. You should probably
Yep.
also do the same. And he like gets in a cool car and screeches off. I'm like,
I'll arrange transport for you. I have to go protect my mum. My mum.
Right. It's sort of like, okay, we're okay, bye. You should just
And he's
contract met.
driving. I think it's a red McLaren he's getting into, which is a British car manufacturer.
Oh, okay.
So keeping up the Shaw British use here.
Mm-hmm.
Also, it says road rage is the license plate on it, which is just
Pretty good.
it's a nice little touch. It's a nice little
Yeah.
touch. He does have a flip car too, which I think is a
I
little
did
wink and a
notice that.
nod.
Is this the last time we see him in this movie?
I believe this is the last time we see him in this movie too.
We're crossing him off the list here.
Yep. This is also the I'd like to see you get a receipt from him line because he says nothing is for free.
That's a good payoff for that annoyance from
It's a
earlier.
decent payoff. It is a decent payoff. I don't think it's a good payoff.
I think Ludacris delivers it in like the most annoying way possible, where it's like, okay, you finally kind of close the loop on this joke that went on a little bit too long. I respect it at least a little bit.
Yeah, and shock of shocks, Boston, we get another action scene here where we get the bridge fight in Rio, which Bogdan from Mission Impossible made me think, is this the same bridge from Mission Impossible where they do the drone strike and Tom
might
Cruise
be.
goes flying sideways?
How many
'Cause it looks
movies?
the same.
Join us at bridgesandmovies.com to find all the wiki.
Internet Movie Bridge Database. Thank you very much.
That's right. That's right.
But
I don't know about this one, man.
I don't like this scene at all because this is where Dom goes to the police station, gets captured by the police, is taken by the police, taken by the agency across the bridge, then gets ambushed by Dante. So this is the guess who's about to join the family moment. Spoiler alert, he joins the family because everybody's getting shot except for, Dom. I do like the fact that Dom uses a car to kill a dude with a gun.
Yes.
By like flipping the car. That's a nice thing. And I especially love the fact that Dante says, that trick you did with the car right there, that was cool, bro. Like, that was incredible.
He's still super impressed by like all the Fast family stuff that they do. Like yeah.
And yeah, Little Miss Nobody shows up, stands on a car. Could you get off my car? As she scrunches her feet into his bonnet, which is just
I really like that one.
It's a good shot. It's a good. Again, it's Jason Momoa stealing the scenes after a boring action scene, and then the character moment is the great moment.
Yep.
And this is what you said earlier. This is where he's like, "How about ballet? Da 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 da. Shoot someone.
Gunshot.
Da 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 da. Shoot someone."
Yep.
And whatever. He gets God's Eye from Little Miss Nobody. That's the thing that happens
like,
here.
This is the 10th mainline Fast Saga movie, and God's Eye is still in these movies and still just be like, well, let's whip out this Deus Ex Machina machine.
It's the most powerful thing ever created.
It's just like, oh, we really made something way too strong like 5 movies ago. Yikes.
And I love the fact that Ramsey is dealing with those consequences. While Ludacris and Rome are having a heartfelt bro moment on the plane, she's hacking away trying to do something because she created it.
Yeah. And also she's like the one actually useful person in this whole crew. Like,
yeah. It's just, I mean, whatever. But,
Miss Nobody gets shot.
Yes, she does. Then Isabella takes her to the hospital, and then this is where he joins the family, where he's like, I can't do much, but I can sure help you get your boy back because that guy just shot me in the chest, right in my bulletproof armor.
Yep.
So, let's go. So they leave. They're heading to go and pick up Little B, who is in a cave with Jacob. And then they have to leave because God's Eye knows where they are now because he's got God's Eye. This is another enchanté moment as he gets into the helicopter and leaves. Yeah, they leave in a cannon car. This is when it's appropriate to say the S word.
Yeah, like, very good payoff for that.
Song lyric, stub toe,
cannon
car. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is an okay, like, almost approaching Mad Max homage scene that is fine. as well.
It fires 2 shots and jams, bro. Like,
It's tough out there on the wasteland, Moon. We learned that last season.
mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's
And
okay.
I'm considering my notes here, I'm pretty sure this car was also added to Rocket League, which is very appropriate.
Okay. That's pretty good.
Yeah, because Dante gets Little B because he's on the back of the car trying to fix the cannons. Dom is there in his Charger, blah, 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 blah.
Yep.
And yeah, they save the boy. They race to an airfield. There's a feel the car, feel the moment.
Yeah,
Feels like the Parappa the Rapper song is about to kick on right there.
Like, I get what they're going for.
He pulls helicopters down from the air and then uses them like not maces, but the thing with the mace on the
Morning
mace ball
Star?
at the end. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, he flings them like a
morning
Star
stars.
flail thing. Like, it's...
And again, great payoff later when Dante says to him, "Did you hit me with a helicopter back there?"
Like, it's a cool scene.
No, it's a passable scene because it's all CGBS.
But, like, I think it's a cool scene, but this movie is so long, and there are so many action scenes. By this point, I'm like, yeah, sure, let's pull down these helicopters. Ooh, flinging around some helicopters. Yeah, knocking those cars off, knocking those cars. The helicopter's gone. Okay, cool.
I mean,
we're doing it.
I like the fact that they use a little bit of a logic for it, where like the only time he has an effect on the helicopters is when his back wheels hit the ground. That's when he hits the gas. That's when he hits the nose. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Saying my turn before you hit the nose is stupid because nobody can hear you except for you.
It's the most like 80s action movie one-liner of just like, come on, man.
But yeah, he gets his boy back and then he ends up being on a dam.
Yeah.
With 2 remote-controlled petrol tankers on either end.
One on each end, yep.
And this is where... It's where Dante says, "Did you hit me with a helicopter back there?" Because his delivery, again, great delivery where he's full of admiration and respect about how crazy it is. He's like, "But you're right where I want you to be."
That's right.
Because now...
I was really impressed, but I'm going to kill you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The problem with being a saint is you either got to perform a miracle or die a martyr. So which one is it?
Mm-hmm.
Great line, because he's been calling him Saint Dom throughout the entirety of the movie.
That's true.
And yeah, he drives down a dam, Boston. He drives down a dam. But the problem is, he CG drives down a dam.
There is one cool shot in this
where the wheels catch on fire?
Yeah, where the wheels catch on fire as they're driving down. That's a really cool shot. The rest of it is just... I honestly wouldn't mind the CG-ness of this scene so much if they didn't.
But it's not just the scene.
It's just like the flying through and around the car.
Oh yeah,
when like the cross is hanging in the air and little B is there.
The torque shot.
Yeah, and it's just like the rest of it is cool, and I don't expect any human being, even Tom Cruise, to drive a Charger down the side of a dam. CG that up, please.
You put George Miller in charge of this movie, and I guarantee he drives a car down that dam.
10 Australian dudes are like, me. Oh, put me in the car.
Yeah,
me.
Dude, exactly. What I'm saying
is fair.
The Fast and the Furious team need to speak to George's team. That's all I'm saying.
Do like a...
It's shaped like a ramp, dude. It's got a ramp at the end. Do the math, put a big old cushion at the end of it, and jump a car off a dam.
It's true. I just... It's also
the problem is we're watching Fast 10, which is the 10th movie in a franchise where maybe 3 of them have got really great physical practical effects.
Yeah.
4, 1, 3, 5, and I think 7 or 8 is mostly practical, which I love. 7, 6, whichever, the younger Shaw one with the flip cars.
Right.
Most of that is practical stuff, and it's incredible, and it's touched up with CG and so on and so forth. But the problem is, we're watching Fast 10 after just doing a season on Mad Max, where Fury Road is the most insane thing you've ever seen, and it came out 10 years before
And
this.
they built those things, those ridiculous monstrosities. They built them and put them in the desert. And also,
300 million, 370 million, and you couldn't drive a car down a dam? Really?
there's also like an element of like inevitability of this too, of like you're on top of this dam and it is ramp shaped, and you're Dom and Little B in a car, and death is coming at you from two sides. Of course you're just gonna drive off the dam. Like there's not gonna be a surprise anymore. And I think that's especially hard because, like we said earlier, like an hour ago or whatever, we open the movie with an incredibly cool surprise at the end of 5 of like, oh yeah, I'm gonna steal the vault by dragging it through this city because it's just too big. Like,
And again, physical, practical things that they touched up with CG.
there's just an element of like,
Very annoying.
of course you're just gonna go down the dam, and like on paper it's cool. You rode a car down the dam, it caught fire, and you like nosed your way out of it.
And they do the blue fire and orange fire mix at the end as he hits the nose. It's a really smart little thing. But like you said, that fly camera shot where it pans through the entire, it's terrible. Like, I don't know why you would have done that.
No.
Do that going through the engine, whatever. Don't do it with humans.
Yeah, that's
you're just
fast
you're not there yet.
Yeah.
Like, you're not there with the human side of things.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, they shoot off, they land in the water, they're saved. Oh, the family show up back up in the plane. Oops, the plane gets shot down. Oh no, Ames is actually a bad guy. I like this reveal.
That reveal of him where Dante is just like...
Just dropping the SAM launcher.
Well, and also like Dante being like, oh, so
Is that your new friend?
You thought everybody joins the family, huh? Everybody's your friend. Everybody is on your side. Whoops. He was mine before you had him. And I was just like, he blew up that plane. Everyone was on the plane. This is incredibly cool. This is great.
Yep.
He blew the hell out of that plane.
And the fact that he's just got that SAM launcher on his shoulder, like the big one with the window and everything, and he's just like, boop, and he's just like, oh, I'm just going to do the side angle look while the plane crashes behind me because I'm a badass.
That's a great shot.
Yep. Guess who's going to fight The Rock next movie?
100%. Oh my god. Yeah.
But yeah.
And then Dante is like 10 steps ahead of them again and just being like, I knew you'd escape out of this. Anyways, I'm going to blow up the dam. Bye. It's just like, oh, you plan for everything.
And then it cuts to black, Boston. Your favorite thing recently is the middle of a cliffhanger. It cuts to black.
It's so good because it's like there are like it's back to back like 3 or 4
surprise reveals.
No, not even that. Bucking expectation. Ames doesn't join the family. He's the bad guy. He blew up everybody that isn't in the water.
He blew up Ramsey, Roman, Tej, and maybe Han. I can't remember if Han is on that plane.
But like he blows up a bunch of dudes in this plane. Of course, the family is going to wiggle away out of it again in the next movie. But like,
I don't know if you noticed, but when Rome was running back through the plane, yelling "incoming," they all got into their cars.
Yeah,
we know they can drive cars out of planes; they'll be fine.
Right, but like, the plane blows up. Ames turns around. Dante is like trying to kill the two of them and fails, and then is going to blow up a dam. Like, there's this kind of like progression,
cascading effect.
Yeah, this cascading effect of like we've been talking about bucking the trend of the family, and everybody joins the cult with cars and all of this. Dom doesn't get to wiggle his way out of this one this time. He doesn't get to race his way away from whatever is going to happen next. And I like that we don't get to see it. We don't get the barbecue scene at the end of this movie. We don't get any of that. I really love that. Like, let's buck the trend of just like, well, they gotta have another one. Let's have a barbecue. Well,
the good news is there's 2 more movies to go. I mean, 1 more movie to go. I mean, 1 more movie to go.
4 more.
1 more.
Or something.
1 more.
Like, We get one more scene.
Anyway,
We get one...
there's two more. There's two more scenes to talk about
Oh
because
my
we cut
God,
back to.
There's two more
We
scenes.
cut to. We cut to Letty climbing out of the tube, and it's really funny that you used the term fridging earlier in this recording. She sticks her head out and she's in Antarctica.
I love that big splash on screen of Antarctica, and it's like that's a good payoff on the kind of big title letters.
And I like the fact that she goes back down the pipe, and Cypher is waiting there with the winter clothes.
And Cypher's like, a little cold up there, huh? It's just like, you knew the whole, like, Letty's not going to listen to you, and you knew it. I appreciated that.
Yeah. And, like, they hike over the top of a mountain, and a sub comes out of the water, which I love. I love the fact that they're bringing a submarine back into this.
It's a pretty good shot of the sub coming out from under the ice.
Yep. And then
who's there?
Something I completely forgot about. Clearly, if you listen to part 1 of this recording, I completely forgot about this.
Check out like 2 hours ago where Moon was just like, "Do you think Giselle comes back?" And I was like, "No."
But the ironic thing is, I also called it in the fact that I was like, there is no wrong-uns in this universe.
Right.
Like this franchise does not care about how right or wrong you are as a human being.
You can drive a car. You're part of the family.
You will be brought into this.
Yeah.
And yeah, Giselle is there on top of a sub,
just
with goggles. DC again, by the way. We didn't mention Aquaman, but Wonder Woman's here too.
It's a real choice. Bringing her back. Real choice.
And apparently that was long planned.
Oh, okay.
So it was planned for quite a while before they wrapped up before they even started shooting the movie. That was the plan.
Okay.
The final scene was not planned.
Oh, okay. That was a last minute burying the hatchet scene.
Yes. So the final scene we get is a bunch of dudes in military gear going into a place.
It looks like a theater.
Yeah, or a church or something like that. And the phone speaks to Mr. Sheriff, who's done a lot of bad things, and it's basically the scene we got with Dom earlier, where it's like, you'll suffer for your sins kind of thing.
I'm coming for you next, and The Rock says, "I'm not very hard to find. Crush the phone with my hand."
So apparently, they showed the movie to The Rock before it came out. And him liking the movie is what got him to sign back up for this moment and the next movie.
Oh,
again, tells you how little I remember. I had no idea that this was in here.
There was one scene I forgot to mention on the bridge, I think, where Dom and Dante are fist fighting, and Dom beats the crap out of him in a way that we just haven't seen two meaty dudes fight in these movies for a very long time. I really liked that. Of just like, Jason Momoa is going to get beaten up real bad, and he's going to be okay.
And he doesn't have a problem doing it because he's an actor.
Acting. Yeah. I just the end of this was just like, Giselle's back. The Rock is back. Everybody's back. Everybody blew up. Don't worry about them. The Rock is back. It just, I don't know, man. I had this movie, I have a lot of feelings all at once, apparently, as you can tell. A lot of this movie is good. And if I know we'll talk about reviews here in a minute. A lot of the reviews are still mixed of these movies. A lot of people reviewing these movies that haven't liked the last 9 movies, which is fine. That's your job.
And if you go into the review knowing that the reviewer has a particular opinion of these movies, and if you agree or disagree, then you'll know how you stand. That's how reviewing works. Right. If you find somebody who you agree with, then follow their stuff. If you find someone you disagree with, then follow their stuff. Then you'll know what you will likely like or not like based on what they like and don't like. That's kind of the whole point.
It's a really interesting movie because I think, unlike a lot of the other Fast Saga movies, there are almost like 5 too many action scenes, which usually isn't a problem, but a lot of them in these movies are kind of like, mm-hmm. Oh yeah, you know, Jason Statham has to have a fight scene. Okay, set your watch. It's
Mm-hmm.
probably about 4 minutes left. Um, but at the other side, this movie, it's like a movie that's kind of at war with itself because it wants to take the power and the ritual nature out of the Fast Saga movies. Of we're going to run into a bad guy, and in this movie or the next one, they're going to be part of the family, and we're all going to race cars, and there's going to be a bigger chase scene, and there's going to be something unbelievable here, and Little B is going
I
to get
mean,
in
is
trouble
Cypher
again.
part of the family now?
Probably. It seems like they need her help at the very least. Half of the people just
Mm-hmm.
died in a plane crash explosion thing. Um, but as much as it wants to like have a takedown of the Fast Saga and try and upend a lot of that, not just with Jason Momoa's portrayal of a villain, but also like his dismantling of the family overall and him kind of like
Mm-hmm.
having Ames be like a double triple agent, very like Revolver Ocelot style. At the same time, they're just playing the hits like we've been talking about this whole episode. We're doing a
Yep.
cartways, we're doing this, we're doing that, we're just doing the highlights from the other 9 movies in this movie that's about dismantling the kind of the repetitive nature of the Fast Saga movies. So it's in its own movie, in its own ethos, it's kind of fighting with itself. I think that's
Yep.
what hurts this movie more than anything else. Not that it's 2.5 hours, not that like Jordana Brewster gets literally 3.5 minutes in this movie. It's just it's at war with itself, and I think that hurts it more than anything else.
Yeah. On the bright side, Charlize Theron didn't have dreads this time.
That's true. Or that like horrible bowl cut she had. That was the worst, man. But I do have to say I still did have fun watching this movie. Like if you have gotten to the 10th movie or 11th or 12th depending on what you count,
Mm-hmm.
you probably find some comfort in the kind of like ritual nature of these movies. It's going to be a similar thing. It's going to have similar themes.
Well, it only became that after 5. Like
Right,
6, 7, like 6, 7, 8, and 9 are the ritual ones.
right.
Like 1 through 5 are completely different
Yeah,
movies.
those are all different, and like you can tell when 5 hit, they're just like, okay, we've solved the equation. We found the formula here.
I think that was the first $1 billion Fast movie.
I think you're right, yeah. But like, I don't blame them for kind of like xeroxing and changing the names on every movie after that and saying like it's a winning formula, keep it riding. But like there's something about it that's like I'm not the like basic kind of guy that's like I'm watching The Office for the 50th time on my back-to-back watch through. But
Mm-hmm.
there's something like that about these movies that's sort of like, okay, it's another Fast movie. I know what I'm going to get. This one had some surprises, you know, especially right near the end where it's kind of flipping a bunch of stuff in its head. Momoa is clearly a standout. If you don't like Momoa's portrayal of a villain in this movie, I am not surprised, but I think you should potentially investigate how you feel about that and make sure that it's not a uh, like anti-gay sort of thing, because I'd see some sentiment out there of like, well, he clearly just a gay villain. It's like, no, he's a big villain. He's a big
Yeah.
camp is the word you used throughout, and I think that's the best way. It's like he's a very campy villain, and I think that's what this movie needs, and I think that helps it so much. But this movie really struggled the whole
Mm-hmm.
way. I had fun watching it, but it's not the one I would recommend people start with for sure,
Like,
for a lot of
out of
reasons.
curiosity,
Mhm.
do we think that this movie is weighed down by the size of the family.
I think
Because
I think that's a concern. Yeah.
it feels like only Dom is the character who gets sufficient screen time.
Yeah, for I was gonna say for better or for worse, but largely for worse. He can't, like we've been saying, he can't carry these movies, and like all of these groups that are separated and split up across the globe. Each group struggles in this movie by themselves, and we don't get the like 15 people in the underground bunker that the agency had that Mr. Nobody gave us the coordinates to, and now we can plan how to hit the bad guys again. And like everybody's in this one big wide shot and everybody's kind of riffing as they get prepared. Like there's no cohesion there between the cast. I think that's one of the things that hurts this movie the most, is that kind of like that struggle of these smaller groups of actors trying to carry this movie that's just, it's huge. Like every part of this movie is big.
I mean, I think this is part of it's classic storytelling. Like it is genuinely storytelling. It's like you see it with the Wizards books, you see it with Lord of the Rings, you see it with anything that's got an ensemble cast. You get the cast, you build them together, you break them apart, and then you bring them back together again at the end. That's kind of traditional storytelling. I think the thing we're running into with this movie is this is part 1 of 2/3/4, depending on who you listen to.
Right.
And I think we've done ourselves a little bit of a disservice here, and they've done themselves a disservice by the fact that, it's taken 4 years for it to come out. But we're watching The Fellowship.
Yeah.
Like we haven't got to the Two Towers or the Return of the King, wherever it comes back together again, where you get that good feeling of the crew all working together again, because that's going to be the next movie, would be my guess.
Well, and we even
have 16 people.
Right. Well, and I think we don't even get the end of Empire Strikes Back, where they lose, but they're back together and they're licking their wounds. The movie ends before that happens. We don't even get they wiggled their way out of it just by an inch this time, not by a quarter mile, and they're on the ropes.
It ends on the I am your father cliffhanger.
Yeah, and then the movie just ends. So we don't even get we barely made it out alive. I don't know how we're going to get back against Dante because he's not going to stop credits. We stop 15 minutes before that, which I don't inherently think is bad, but I think it puts the movie in a bit of a rough spot. It doesn't even say the family will ride again in Fast 10 Part 2, whatever in the credits. There isn't even any part of that. So, I don't know, man. What were your kind of final wrap-up thoughts here? Before we get to the ratings, what are your final wrap-up thoughts here on your second viewing here?
I think it's, like you said, it's not bad. It isn't a terrible movie by any stretch of the imagination. I think it has incredible moments. I think Little Miss Nobody's shots with the shotgun is one of the funniest things I've really seen in cinema in a long time. But I mean, other than the empty chair, you don't get any reference to Paul at all. Right. Not even a throwaway line, because I'm pretty sure they have 2 kids in canon now. They have 2 children.
There's only one line of someone says "Oh, is Mia okay?" Yeah, her and Brian escaped. It's that was it. Just one sort of yeah, they're somewhere else. Don't worry about it.
So. I don't know. It is okay.
Yeah,
I guess.
It's a rough spot.
But we watched this after Mad Max.
We didn't. That was maybe not the most generous pairing for Fast 10.
100% no. because we like go back and listen to the last 3 episodes. You got Fury Road, which is an all timer. Period.
Yeah.
End of conversation. Like that's in my opinion, that's probably top 10 movies
One of
of
the
all
best
time.
action movies of all time.
Maybe even like top 5 for me personally.
Yep.
And then the problems we had with Furiosa was like too long, not enough real character development,
Sort
a
of
whole bunch of
unnecessary.
CG. Yeah, and a whole bunch of CG nightmarish stuff in
Right.
there. And then this,
Yeah.
where it's too much CG, too much constant stuff like that. And one of the reasons that 5 and 6 and 7 live in my heart so nicely is because they are chock full of character moments.
Yes.
Little 5, 10, like not even that long, like sequences.
Right.
Like in 5, when it's Paul Walker and it's Vin Diesel sitting there thinking about how they're going to take Reyes' money.
Mm-hmm.
And like, yeah, we're going to need a crew. And they start talking about the crew. And you do little flashes to the crew as they're talking about them. But then they have that moment where it's like, and we need 2 all-time drivers. We need 2 10-second drivers in cars like who would never be broken, never crush under pressure. And it's goofy and it's dumb and it's stupid.
Yep.
But it is heartwarming and charming because you know this is how these 2 meatheads speak to each other about the whole kind of thing. There is none of that in this. There is no real moments between everybody. It's like you haven't finished with the family yet. Like you just haven't.
And I think that's part of the reason why the ending maybe doesn't hit as hard as it needed it to. The last time you see everybody together is in the beginning of the movie with the barbecue. And there's no big, like, let's hit Dante where it hurts. We're all together, getting our cars, 15 cars, ring, like we're all leaving. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's talk ratings here real quick. IMDb, 5.7 out of 10 with 133,000 reviews. Rotten Tomatoes, Tomato Meter 57% with 315 reviews. That's not too surprising. Most reviewers don't like these movies to begin with. So that's, like we said earlier. Popcorn Meter is at 84%. Letterboxd has this at a 2.5 out of 5.
I could maybe do a 6 or 7 kind of thing.
I think I'm at the like 3 out of 5, 6 out of 10 sort of range. It's not bad. It's certainly not the worst Fast movie. That ampersand
that goes to ampersand.
Yeah, is definitely famous shorthand for bad movies, ampersand. But it's down there in the bottom half for me, I think.
100%.
Yeah. And that stinks after like 7, 8, and 9 were solid. Yeah.
I mean, 6, 7, 8, and 9 were all like, well,
True.
6, 7, and 8, I think are pretty solid.
Mm-hmm. We are not ranking 12 Fast movies as we're sitting here, listeners. Like, I apologize. We don't have 2 more hours to do that.
That's 2026. That's when we do that.
Yeah, you got to do it once all of them
catch up season 2.
Yeah, right.
So we'll never do it, basically.
No, yeah.
Like,
there's always one more Fast movie.
I think the strengths of this movie are the most divisive things about this movie, and that's Jason Momoa's performance.
So good.
Which I think is incredible.
Yep.
I genuinely do think it is absolutely incredible. I think Alan Richardson is stellar in the role he's been given, which is hey, I'm just a big cop, just like The Rock used to be, except he's actually the bad guy. And the fact that he's got like the look on his face to pull that off, I think is great.
Mm-hmm.
I think, like, the action scenes, there's no hugely memorable action scenes in this for me personally.
Not even when
we literally skipped over the helicopter scene by accident because we didn't care enough to talk about it.
Yeah, not even when Dom rips 2 helicopters out of the sky with a car, and we're like, yeah, he did that. Instead of like, this was the coolest thing I've seen put to film ever. It's like, yeah, it's another action. This movie's 2.5 hours long. Like, please, free me from this Sisyphean nightmare, please.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, well, that's Fast 10. That first of
Your
our
seatbelts for a long wait for the next one.
Hey, got him. We are that was first of our 3 catch-up movies. I think we have a pretty spicy one coming up next too. So hopefully you will join us for that episode. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.